JB's got a type. Outer city famous is what I like.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Blahautism here, and something was just sent to me a little bit ago. I just now read it. I'm going to make a response video. I'm going to need to sit down for this one because I'm going to get pretty fucking pissed. You know, I understand this is the internet and a lot of people like to make jokes and comments and people like to start things on forums. That's fine. I have a thick skin. I can deal with that. But when I have to deal with other members of the community, the fitness community, people who I will see at expos, that I will see at powerlifting meets, who are public figures with big audiences saying this sort of bullshit, it kind of pisses me off. And yeah, people have started doing background checks around, and a bunch of info came to me a while back that during all the different lawsuit stuff going on, that some companies and CEOs and other people were digging into my background trying to pull information. Yes, I have a classified background. Yes, I have non-disclosure agreements. So technically anything that anyone finds about me, if they get a hold of it, it's illegal for them to have it. If they spread it around, they're guilty of espionage. So, Simon, if someone sent you any rumors of what the fuck I used to do, and you spread it around, you will go to prison for the rest of your fucking life. And so will the people who gave you the information, who got a hold of shit they're not supposed to get a hold of. No, I don't talk about my past because I used to work in intelligence. I worked in intelligence until I cracked under the stress from the PTSD, and then they terminated me and told me that if I ever talked about specifically what I did, that I would spend the rest of my life in prison. So yeah, I'm a little bit fucked up. I'm a little bit crazy. And no, I was never in the military, but that doesn't mean that I didn't serve my country. That doesn't mean that I never risked my life for my country. It doesn't mean I never killed for my country. So when some of you guys who come in here in the comments, or some of you other public figures out there say shit like this, don't you fucking dare ever come up and say that shit to my face at an expo or a powerlifting meet. I don't give a fuck if you're a veteran. Normally I respect veterans, but if you come up and say that to my face at an expo, any of that bullshit you guys say, your mouth is going to write a check that your ass cannot cash. I can fucking promise you that. And Simon, you think that shit is funny? You want to make jokes about that? First of all, the Illuminati's not fucking real. It's a bunch of shit the Muslims made up on the fucking internet for the conspiracy world. So if you even believe in that, you're a fucking retard, or you're a Muslim extremist, so which one is it? And number two, you think killing people's fucking funny? Well, I can tell you that everyone I know who's ever killed anybody, myself included, from the moment you kill your first person, you're pretty well fucked in the head for the rest of your life. I still have nightmares about the first time I killed somebody. I still remember his brains fucking blowing out everywhere, and that shit is shit that I see in my dreams still to this day. So you think it's funny? Fuck you, Simon. It's not fucking funny. There's nothing fucking funny about killing people that you think it's a big fucking joke. So let me tell you this, Simon, if you gonna make jokes about shit like that, you think it's fucking funny, I better not ever fucking see you come to an expo or a powerlifting meet or any event I'm at. Do not fucking show up. You understand me? Fuck you, Simon. This shit is not fucking funny. Alright guys, I'm done. For those who don't understand, I trained at the farm at Langley. Anyone who knows what that is knows what that means. You can't provide security capable of providing the security I can provide for myself. Prepared to deal with those emotions, because I can tell you how I would deal with it. But I can also tell you that the overwhelming majority of people, they do not have the background or the skill set to successfully stalk somebody, get away with it, dust their tracks, leave no alibi, leave no real forensic evidence, and how to set it up to make it look like somebody else did it with a completely different motive. They're emotional, they attack in anger.
My wang slices like a knife. 2 cuts for the girlfriend cause she needs it twice.
But essentially what had happened, and you guys know that I've said before, when I go out, I generally take girls with me and I take care of them and everything, and I have a current girlfriend right now, so I'm not doing this to get laid. In fact, the friend I had with me is happily married. I'm a good friend with her. I'm a good friend with her husband. Her husband, trust me, she wanted to ride with me to go up to a bar that was having a steak night and a karaoke night that we frequently go to. A lot of us go to. A lot of my friends go there. We went with a group of friends, and one of my friends, who it turned out I didn't know has a bit of a history of slapping around his girlfriends and things, his exes when he drinks, got really out of line that night. And rather than be able to enjoy myself with other friends, I had to spend a lot of time keeping this guy calmed down, trying to keep him under control. He was getting really rough. He had knocked my glasses off at one point, trying to wrestle around with me. And I kept having to calm him down. He was a friend of mine. I didn't want to have to hurt him. But he got really out of line at one point, and he kept kissing on girls. Every girl that we had there, none of them were single. All the female friends who were there either had boyfriends, husbands, whatever. He was trying to kiss on them, slap their asses. He had been asked to stop. And then he tried to kiss my married friend, and she pushed him away, and he put her in a choker hold. So I ended up having to get in a confrontation to pull him off of her, because that's going too far. This is a woman who is married. She has a husband, and she was there under my protection by me taking her to this establishment. And it was my obligation as a man at that point to step in and do something. And I would think most of the guys out there would respect that and understand that. And no, I didn't beat the shit out of the guy. Nobody won this conflict. Everybody involved lost. Because he and I had to grapple around. I specifically went completely out of my way to avoid punching this guy or hitting him and using submission holds. I ended up getting my arm bit. And when he bit my arm, I hooked my fingers in his cheek, which will generally paralyze somebody. You can hook them like a fish. And I put him chest down on the floor, and I held him there. The bouncers were coming, and I was hoping he would be cool because the guy was my friend, or had been my friend up until that point, but he was really drunk, and I wasn't thinking clearly at that point. I was trying to keep calm. I didn't realize how much pain I had put the guy in with that hold, because it hurts quite a bit. And I told him, if you're going to be cool, I will let you up. And he said he'd be cool, just please let him go. When I let him up, he came up and he caught me with a left, and he got me really, really good. And that was my own fault. That was me being stupid and assuming that my friend was going to be cool if I let him back up. And that was really dumb of me, so I paid a price for that. That's something to be proud of. That was a mistake on my part. I had the guy subdued. I should have just kept him there in the submission hold until the bouncers got there. When the bouncers came over and the owner got in my face, who happens to be a personal family friend of mine, I backed off, let the bouncers deal with him, and I didn't continue the conflict. I kept my cool because, again, it's important to behave as a gentleman in public. You shouldn't have to have bouncers pull you off someone, even if you've had to restrain them. When the owner of an establishment comes and tells you to back off, you back off. And you apologize to that person for whatever behavior you were involved with in their establishment, guys. And that's part of being a gentleman and being a man, is to know when to back off in those situations and to apologize to everyone involved. And I went around that night, and every one of our friends who were there, who had to see all of that, who had to deal with it, I apologized to each and every one of them. I apologize for his behavior, and he and I are no longer on speaking terms. So no, that's not something to brag about. It's not something to be proud of. I'm not proud of the fact that I had to get into a conflict. I'm not proud of the fact that I made a mistake and let somebody up who I shouldn't have and got a black eye for it, guys. But there are times when these things arise, and it is important for us as men to deal with them as men when these situations come up. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.
You don't have a right. I'll pull out my gun and shoot you at night. I refuse to fight, but I'll pop my AR-15 and put out your lights.
He was a good friend of mine, actually a family friend. I consider him a friend, but he wasn't really a close friend of mine, but he was a very close friend of my family. And it was a gentleman by the name of Wilton. And he was talking to me about men of authority. And he went back telling a story about when he was in Vietnam. And he was a first sergeant of a platoon. And their previous second lieutenant who ran the platoon had died a few days before in a firefight, who hadn't given the best of orders. And they assigned a new lieutenant, and they told Wilton who he was because he was the first sergeant. He ran the platoon essentially for the second lieutenant, and he was in charge of looking after the men. And this second lieutenant had graduated from college, which back then was a bigger deal than it is today. He was educated, had gone to the war college, and was a second lieutenant. And when he got there, he told Wilton that 0600 in the morning, we are going to be storming this hill over here. Wilton looked at it and told him, that's a bad idea. We're going to lose at least a minimum of half of the platoon if we do that. I don't think it's a good idea, sir. And he told him, well, I'm in charge, and we will damn well storm that hill in the morning. Wilton told him, yes, sir. And I asked Wilton, what did you do? And he said, I had to stop and think about it, and I had to weigh out if I was going to let this man of authority give a bad order that was going to kill off all of those men that I had to look after. And he said, and I did the only thing that could be done. That when he was taking a shit in a latrine, I rolled a grenade under the door and walked off. When he was taking a shit in a latrine, I rolled a grenade under the door and walked off. And he said, and that's how you deal with a man of authority who is giving you bad advice and bad orders. I do come across as the tough guy, the alpha male. All right, this is the start of the game. I just vanguarded. It is my 2,400 point Nurgle army against an Empire army. And there's that steam tank over there. I hate that. And the end of Empire turn 1. I do come across as the tough guy, the alpha male. Skulls for the Scroll Throne, and I will talk to you guys next time. I'm just Jason Blaha here, and I just saw Mark Lobliner's video with my bro Steve Shaw in it, inviting me to come do a formal debate about BioGrow. So let's discuss what my terms are. Here's what I want to do this debate, and if they will agree to my terms, Tiger Fitness, Isatori, everyone else who might want to get involved, then I will accept. Number one on the list, I'm going to lose money. I want $5 grand to do the debate. Non-negotiable. Number two, my girlfriend needs dick twice a day from me. We do all of our business together. Her flight needs to be comped also. Number three, I get death threats all the time on the internet. Everyone knows I walk around armed, and I've told people repeatedly if they come up and punch me, I'm going to kill them.
Do you think killing people's fucking funny?
I want written permission from the owners of the expo for me to provide my own weaponry, for me to be armed at the expo at all times, to wear my piece on my side, and for my girlfriend to also be armed with the written understanding that if anyone comes up and makes a physical assault at me, that I will kill them dead at their expo. Non-negotiable.
I said, do you think killing people's fucking funny?
So there's my counter offer. Take it or leave it.